All right, cool. Been a while since I've been on here, so welcome back. So I'm just going to read some of this here. I just love this book right here. You need to really, if you have issues with managing yourself, definitely read this book. This book will inspire you to stay engaged throughout your 50-year work life, tap into your deepest values, solicit candid feedback, replenish physical and mental energy, balance work, home, community, and self, spread positive energy throughout your organization or business, rebound from tough times, decrease distractibility and frenzy, and also teach you how to delegate and develop employees' initiatives. All right, so managing oneself, 13. We live in an age of unprecedented opportunity. If you've got ambition, drive, and smarts, you can rise to the top of your chosen profession, regardless of where you started out. But with opportunity comes responsibility. Companies today aren't managing their knowledge workers' careers. Rather, we must be our own chief executive officer. Simply put, it's up to you to carve out your place in the world, in the work world, and know when to change course. And it's up to you to keep yourself engaged and productive during a work life that may span some 50 years. To do all of these things well, you'll need to cultivate a deep understanding of yourself. What are your most valuable strengths and most dangerous weaknesses? Equally important, how do you learn and work with others? What are your most deeply held values? And what type of work environment can you make the greatest contribution? The implication is clear. Only when you operate from a combination of your strengths and self-knowledge can you achieve true and lasting excellence. So work from your strengths. To build a life of excellence, begin by asking yourself these questions. What are my strengths? To accurately identify your strengths, use feedback analysis. Every time you make a key decision, write down the outcome of what you expect. Several months later, compare the actual results with your expected results. Look for patterns in what you're seeing. All right. What are my strengths? To accurately identify your strengths, use feedback analysis. Every time you make a key decision, write down the outcome you expect. Several months later, compare the actual results with your expected results. Look for patterns in what you're seeing. What results are you skilled at generating? What abilities do you need to enhance in order to get the results you want? Mhm. What unproductive habits are preventing you from creating the outcomes you desire? In identifying opportunities for improvement, don't waste time cultivating skill areas where you have little competence. Instead, concentrate on and build on your strengths. Mhm. How do I work? In what ways do you work best? Do you process information most effectively by reading it or by hearing others discuss it? Do you accomplish the most by working with other people or by working alone? Do you perform best while making decisions or while advising others on key matters? Are you in top form when things get stressful, or do you function optimally in a highly predictable environment? Mhm. What are my values? What are your ethics? What do you see as your most important responsibilities for living a worthy ethical life? Do your organization's ethics resonate with your own values? If not, your career will likely be marked by frustration and poor performance. Where do I belong? Consider your strengths, preferred work style, and values. Based on these qualities, in what kind of work environment would you fit in best? Find the perfect fit, and you'll transform yourself from a merely acceptable employee into a star performer. What can I contribute? In earlier eras, companies told business people what their contribution would be. Today, you have choices to decide how you can best enhance your organization's performance or your business. First ask what the situation requires. Based on your strengths, work style, and values, how might you make the greatest contribution to your business's efforts? Mhm. So, yeah, try your best to find what your lane is. Instead of trying to work up, instead of trying to get better in, well, this isn't anything wrong with getting better in areas that you're weak. You're going to want to take advantage of areas that you're already strong in. So, work with your strengths. Let's see here. There we go. Management time. Who's got the monkey? Yeah, 33. Yeah, these are very good tips for how to manage yourself. Okay, so here's an example. You're racing down the hall. An employee stops you and says, "We've got a problem." You assume you should get involved, but can't make an on the spot decision. You say, "Let me think about it." You've just allowed a monkey, or that's basically another word to say a problem, to leap from your subordinate's back to yours. You're now working for your subordinate. Take on enough problems, or monkeys, and you won't have enough time to handle your real job. Fulfilling your own boss's mandates and helping peers generate business results. How to avoid accumulating monkeys. Develop your subordinate's initiative, says Onken and Moss. For example, when an employee tries to hand you a problem, clarify whether he should recommend and implement a solution, take action, then brief you immediately, or act and report the outcome at a regular update. When you encourage employees to handle their own problems, they acquire new skills and you liberate time to do your own job. So, yeah, try to cultivate other people's experiences. 30 minutes. How to return monkeys to their proper owners. Onken Wass and Stephen Kovoy, in an afterword to this classic article, offer these suggestions. Make appointments to deal with monkeys or deal with problems. Avoid discussing any problem on an ad hoc basis. For example, when you pass a subordinate in the hallway, you won't convey the proper seriousness. Instead, schedule an appointment to discuss the issue. Specify level of initiative. Your employees can exercise 5 levels of initiative in handling on-the-job problems. From lowest to highest, the levels are: wait until told what to do, ask what to do, recommend an action, then, with your approval, implement it, take independent action but advise you at once, and number 5, take independent action and update you through the routine procedure. When an employee brings a problem to you, outlaw use of level 1 or 2. Agree on and assign level 3, 4, or 5 to the monkey. Take no more than 15 minutes to discuss the problem. Agree on a status update. After deciding how to proceed, agree on a time and place when the employee will give you a proper support. Examine your own motives. Some managers secretly worry that if they encourage subordinates to take more initiative, they'll appear less strong, more vulnerable, and less useful. Instead, cultivate an inward sense of security that frees you to relinquish direct control and support employees' growth. Develop employees' initiative. Employees try to hand off monkeys when they lack the desire or ability to handle them. Help employees develop needed problem-solving skills. It's initially more time-consuming than tackling problems yourself, but it saves time in the long run. Foster trust. Developing employees' initiative requires a trusting relationship between you and your subordinates. If they're afraid of failing, they'll keep bringing their problems to you rather than working to solve their own problems. To promote trust, reassure them that it's safe to make mistakes. 47. How resilience works. These are dark days. People are losing jobs, taking pay cuts, suffering foreclosure from their homes. Some of them are snapping, sinking into depression, or suffering a permanent loss of confidence. But others are snapping back. For example, taking advantage of a layoff to build a new career. What carries them through tough times? Resilience. Resilient people possess 3 defining characteristics. They coolly accept the harsh realities facing them. They find meaning in terrible times. And they have an uncanny ability to improvise, making do with whatever's at hand. In deep recessions, resilience becomes more important than ever. Fortunately, you can learn to be resilient. Resilience can help you survive and recover from even the most brutal experiences. To cultivate resilience, apply these practices. Face down reality. Instead of slipping into denial to cope with hardship, take a sober, down to earth view of the reality of your situation. You'll prepare yourself to act in ways that enable you to endure, training yourself to survive before the fact. Example: Admiral Jim Stockdale survived being held prisoner and tortured by the Viet Cong in. Is that Vietnam or Viet Cong? Anyway, in part by accepting he could be held there for a long time. He was held for 8 years. Those who didn't make it out of the camps kept optimistically assuming they'd be released on shorter timetables. By Christmas, by Easter, by the 4th of July. I think they all died of broken hearts, Stockdale said. Search for meaning. When hard times strike, resist any impulse to view yourself as a victim and to cry, "Why me?" Rather, devise constructs about your suffering to create meaning for yourself and others. You'll build bridges from your present day ordeal to a fuller, better future. Those bridges will make the present manageable by removing the sense that the present is overwhelming. Austrian psychiatrist and Auschwitz survivor Viktor Frankl realized that to survive the camp, he had to find some purpose. He did so by imagining himself giving a lecture after the war on the psychology of the concentration camp to help outsiders understand what he had been through. By creating concrete goals for himself, he rose above the sufferings of the moment. Continually improvise. When disaster hits, be inventive. Make the most of what you have, putting resources to unfamiliar uses and imagining possibilities others don't see. Example: Mike founded a business with his friend Paul, selling educational materials to schools, businesses, and consulting firms. When a recession hit, they lost many core clients. Paul went through a bitter divorce, suffered a depression, and couldn't work. When Mike offered to buy him out, Paul slapped him with a lawsuit, claiming Mike was trying to steal the business. Mike kept the company going any way he could, going into joint ventures to sell English language training materials to Russian and Chinese competitors, publishing newsletters for clients, and even writing video scripts for competitors. The lawsuit was eventually settled in his favor, and he had a new and much more solid business than the one he started out with, trying to keep himself from getting hit with that, suffering from that lawsuit. So yeah, he had to do a lot of improvising and just trying to make it work. And from all of that, made a better business. Oh boy. Manage your energy, not your time. Ooh. 61. Organizations are demanding ever higher performance from their workforces. People are trying to comply, but the usual method, but the usual method, the usual method, but the usual method, but the usual method, putting in longer hours has backfired. They're getting exhausted, disengaged, and sick, and are defecting to healthier job environments. Longer days at the office don't work because time is a limited resource. But personal energy is renewable, says Auschwitz and McCarthy. By fostering deceptively simple rituals that help employees regularly replenish their energy, organizations build workers' physical, emotional, and mental resilience. These rituals include taking brief breaks at specific intervals, expressing appreciation to others, reducing interruptions, and spending more time on activities people do best and enjoy most. Help your employees systematically rejuvenate their personal energy, and the benefits go straight to your bottom line. Take Wachovia Bank. Participants in an energy renewal program produced 13 percentage points greater year over year in revenues from loans than a control group did. And they exceeded the control group's gains in revenues from deposits by 20 percentage points. So basically, in short from that, take care of your personal needs to rejuvenate yourself, your energy, and it'll go straight to your bottom line. It'll work out instead of trying to constantly overwork yourself. Schwartz and McCarthy recommend these practices for renewing 4 dimensions of personal energy. Physical energy. Enhance your sleep by setting an earlier bedtime and reducing alcohol use. Reduce stress by engaging in cardiovascular activity at least 3 times a week and strength training at least once. Eat small meals and light snacks every 3 hours. Learn to notice signs of imminent energy flagging, including restlessness, yawning, hunger, and difficulty concentrating. Take brief but regular breaks away from your desk at 90 to 120-minute intervals throughout the day. Emotional energy. Diffuse negative emotions, irritability, impatience, anxiety, insecurity through deep abdominal breathing. Fuel positive emotions in yourself and others by regularly expressing appreciation to others in detailed, specific terms through notes, emails, calls, or conversations. Look at upsetting situations through new lenses. Adopt a reverse lens to ask, what would the other person in this conflict say, and how might he be right? Use a long lens to ask, how will I likely view this situation in 6 months? Employ a wide lens to ask, how can I grow and learn from the situation? Mental energy. Reduce interruptions by performing high concentration tasks away from phones and email. Respond to voicemails and emails at designated times during the day. Every night, identify the most important challenge for the next day. Then make it your first priority when you arrive at work in the morning. Spiritual energy. Identify your sweet spot activities, those that give you feelings of effectiveness, effortless absorption, and fulfillment. Find ways to do more of these. One executive who hated doing sales reports delegated them to someone who loved that activity. Allocate time and energy to what you consider most important. For example, spend the last 20 minutes of your evening commute relaxing so you can connect with your family once you're home. Live your core values. For instance, if consideration is important to you, but you're perpetually late for meetings, Practice intentionally showing up 5 minutes early for meetings. How companies can help. To support energy renewal rituals in your firm, build renewal rooms where people can go relax and refuel. Subsidize gym memberships. Encourage managers to gather employees for midday workouts. And suggest that people stop checking emails during meetings. Relaxation time is important for that energy renewal. Okay, that was 65. Overloaded circuits, 79. Frenzied executives who fidget. Frenzied executives who fidget through meetings, miss appointments, and jab at the elevator's door close button aren't crazy, just crazed. They're suffering from a newly recognized neurological phenomenon called attention deficit trait, ADT, marked by distractibility, inner frenzy, and impatience. ADT prevents managers from clarifying priorities, making smart decisions, and managing their time. This insidious condition turns otherwise talented performers into harried underachievers, and it's reaching epidemic proportions. ADT isn't an illness or a character defect. It's our brain's natural response to exploding demands on our time and attention. As data increasingly floods our brains, we lose our ability to solve problems and handle the unknown. Creativity shrivels, mistakes multiply. Some sufferers eventually melt down. How to control ADT's ravaging impact on performance? Foster positive emotions by connecting face to face with people you like throughout the day. Take physical care of your brain by getting enough sleep, eating healthfully, and exercising regularly. Organize for ADT. Designating part of each day for thinking and planning, and setting up your office to foster mental functioning. For example, keeping part of your desk clear at all times. These strategies may seem like no-brainers, but they'll help you vanquish the ADT demon before it can strike. How you can combat ADT. Promote positive emotions. Negative emotions, especially fear, can hamper productive brain functioning. To promote positive feelings, especially during highly stressful times, interact directly with someone you like at least every 4 to 6 hours. In environments where people are in physical contact with people they trust, brain functioning hums. By connecting comfortably with colleagues, you help your brain's executive center, responsible for decision making, planning, and information prioritizing, perform at its best. Take physical care of your brain. Ample sleep, a good diet, and exercise are critical for staving off ADT. You're getting enough sleep if you can awake without an alarm clock. You're eating well if you're avoiding sugar and white flour and consuming more fruits, whole grains, vegetables, and protein instead. You're exercising enough if you're taking a brisk walk or going up and down a flight of stairs a few times a day. Organize for ADT. Instead of getting sucked into vortexes of mail or voicemail first thing in the morning, attend to a critical task. With paperwork, apply the Ohio only handle it once rule. Whenever you touch a document, act on it, file it, or throw it away. Do crucial work during times of the day when you perform at your best. Use whatever small strategies you strategies help you function well mentally, whether it's listening to music, or walking around while working, or doodling during meetings. And before you leave for the day, list 3 to 5 priority items you'll need to address tomorrow. What your company can do. In firms that ignore ADT symptoms, employees underachieve, create clutter, and cut corners. Careless mistakes, illness, and turnover increase as people squander their brain power. To counteract ADT and harness employees' brain power, invest in amenities that foster positive, productive atmosphere. Major software company SaaS Institute creates a warm, connected, and relaxed work environment by offering employees perks such as a 7-hour workday that ends at 5, large on-site gym with the daycare facility, and cafeteria that provides baby seats and high chairs so parents can eat their lunch with their children. The payoff: employees return the favors with high productivity, and SaaS's turnover never exceeds 5%. People leaving the company, saving the company millions on recruiting, training, and severance. So yeah, you take care of your employees, or you take care of someone else, they'll take care of you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Pretty simple concept. Anyway, that's it for today. Oof.